them. He shapes us in ways so fundamental that we could not be called human without them. He gives us gifts profound, protection, wisdom, love, and life itself, that there is no way to measure their value. He cleans up our mistakes, looks after us, even when we want to avoid him, and speaks the truth, even when we would rather not hear it. Vyasa Puja is the day we can try to do something for him. So much of our interaction with the spiritual master is about us, what we need, what we can learn, what we hope to achieve, like children who at last discover the joy of giving a gift to their parents. We too can use Vyasa Puja as an opportunity to shift our focus from ourselves to the spiritual master. What can we give someone to whom we already owe everything? Even as a worshiper of the Ganga offers her a palmful of Ganges water, or a devotee of the sun god offers him an arti flame, or a child uses the parents' money to buy them a gift, we too feel helpless in offering anything of value to Srila Prabhupada. Nevertheless, there is one thing that belongs uniquely to us. The Vyasa Puja is the day to offer it like a flower at Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, our sincere gratitude. Genuine gratitude is felt in our hearts, expressed in our words, and enacted in our lives. In February 1936, on the occasion of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Vyasa Puja, Srila Prabhupada delivered an address to guests at the Bombay Gaudiya Math. In his speech, Srila Prabhupada explains the significance of the occasion and offerings of loving tribute to his spiritual master. He repeatedly expresses heartfelt gratitude, followed by exhortations of service and surrender. Quote, "Let me repeat, therefore, that we should hear him patiently, follow him in the measure of our conviction, and bow down at his lotus feet for releasing us from our present causeless unwillingness for serving the Absolute and all souls. He is our eye-opener, our eternal Father, our eternal preceptor, and our eternal guide. Let us therefore bow down at his lotus feet on this auspicious day." End quote. The best way to repay a teacher is to follow his instructions and utilize the knowledge we have received. Vyasa Puja affords us an opportunity to examine our lives and ask ourselves, does my behavior reflect an attitude of gratefulness towards Srila Prabhupada? Am I living my life in a way that would make Srila Prabhupada happy? I am proud to call Srila Prabhupada my master. What would he be willing to call me, his servant? Gratitude is the disciple's most precious quality, and Vyasa Puja is an opportunity to re-examine and renew that attitude. What exactly is a disciple grateful for? The spiritual master's gifts are endless, but there is one gift that gives value to all the others, namely the benediction of unadulterated spiritual knowledge. As Srila Prabhupada emphatically asserts in his Vyasa Puja address, quote, "Gentlemen, our knowledge is so poor, our senses are so imperfect, and our sources are so limited that it is not possible for us to have even the slightest knowledge of the absolute region without surrendering ourselves at the lotus feet of Sri Vyasadeva or his bona fide representative. Therefore, gentlemen, we should surrender ourselves today at the feet of the representative of Sri Vyasadeva for the elimination of all our differences bred by our unsubmissive attitude. End quote. What is the worth of all other good qualities if the message is impure and imperfect? The greatest gift of a bona fide spiritual master gives his disciples is to serve as the faithful representative of Sri Vyasadeva. This, therefore, constitutes the very foundation of Vyasa Puja, the worship of Sri Vyasadeva and his representative. There is no higher praise that we can give the spiritual master than to say that he is genuine representative of Vyasadeva. There's no greater reason to be grateful than for the unadulterated flow of transcendental knowledge that comes from Vyasadeva via the spiritual master. So let us take a moment to consider what makes Sri Vyasadeva the model for every spiritual master. Vyasadeva's qualities, accomplishments, and gifts are many. Sri Vyasadeva is a source of Vedic knowledge for humanity. He compiled and divided the Vedas, making them easily digestible. He explained the Vedas' inner meaning in the Vedanta Sutra, and he explained the Vedanta Sutra by writing Srimad Bhagavatam. So reliable is the knowledge given by Vyasadeva that even Krishna refers to the Vedanta Sutra in the Bhagavad Gita. Thus, Vyasadeva embodies the most important function of the spiritual master, conveying transcendental knowledge. It's a bit long, so please pay attention. I'm just going to try to get through it quickly, but it's very beautifully composed. This is by Radhika Ramandas. Vyasadeva is deeply compassionate toward the average person in the age of Kali. He compiled the Vedas not just for the scholastic purposes, but to relieve humanity's suffering. When he saw that the average person would not be able to understand the Vedas, he wrote the Mahabharata so that they might gain the same knowledge by means of intriguing histories. Thus, Srila Vyasadeva embodies the trademark quality of the spiritual master, compassion for other living entities. 3. Sri Vyasadeva provides a pathway for everyone's improvement, but he did not hesitate to speak the ultimate truth. Whether people want material advancement, yogic perfection, or knowledge, the Vedas tell them how to get what they want. As a spiritual master of the world, Srila Vyasadeva tries to keep everyone on the path of spiritual progress, no matter how indirectly. At the same time, he does not hesitate to teach the highest truth to those who are ready. Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripe fruit of the Vedic desire tree, and Vyasadeva begins it by reciting all cheating paths that teach anything but pure devotional service. He asked bluntly at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the use of any other book? Number 4, Sri Vyasadeva ensured the liberation of future generations by creating lines of disciples who would continue the Guru Parampara and distribute the scriptures widely. To each of his disciples, he entrusted one branch of the Vedas, and those disciples taught it to their own disciples. So perfect was this transmission that the Vedic chanting we hear today, scholars say, is the closest thing we have to a 5,000-year-old tape recording. Finally, Vyasadeva set the ideal example himself by accepting a spiritual master, Narada Muni, and inquiring from him submissively, despite the fact that Vyasadeva is an incarnation of the Lord. In all these ways, Sri Vyasadeva serves the ideal guru and sets the standard for all gurus in our parampara. Any spiritual master who repeats the instructions of Vyasadeva and follows his example should be honored by the ceremony of Vyasa Puja. Our own Srila Prabhupada exemplified the qualities of Vyasadeva in an exemplary way. Like Vyasadeva, Srila Prabhupada composed a vast library of Vaishnava scriptures and presented them in an easily digestible manner for a Kali Yuga audience. He mercifully reached out to every kind of person, inviting people of every nationality, race, caste, gender, and religion to participate in his compassionate vision for the re-spiritualization of human society. At the same time, he never hesitated to speak the truth as it is, even when he spoke to the elite and powerful. Like Vyasadeva, Srila Prabhupada created a community of disciples, entrusting them with various tasks in a worldwide movement. And those disciples today have their own disciples. Some of them have their disciples too. In this way, Srila Prabhupada's family grows into a fourth generation, with many more to come in the future. And yet, each succeeding generation feels as close and committed to Srila Prabhupada as the first. I never had the fortune of meeting Srila Prabhupada, and neither did my parents. But our lives are committed to his service, and we feel his protection, his affection, and his direction personally. We experience his presence through his books, his audio and video lectures, his ISKCON society, and the guidance of our own spiritual masters. Such is the experience of countless grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada calls this the mystery of the disciplic succession. From a worldly perspective, each succeeding generation is further and further away from Krishna, and yet the experience of Krishna is just as direct as it was for the first generation. My eyeglasses give me a clear and direct experience of the world, an experience that is sharper than if I were to remove my glasses. Similarly, the transparent medium of the bona fide spiritual master gives us a direct experience of Krishna that is clearer than if we were to try to approach Krishna directly. Sanjaya's experience of Krishna at Kurukshetra was clear and direct, sakshat. Despite the fact that Sanjaya was not present on the battlefield and he was not Krishna's personal friend, this direct experience was due only to the mercy of his guru, Srila Vyasadeva, as Sanjaya gratefully notes at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Indeed, how can we get further away from Krishna in time and space and yet closer to him? And our experience is the mystery of the disciplic succession. Srila Prabhupada is that extraordinary spiritual master who brought Krishna in focus for thousands of living beings and who will continue to do so for generations to come. He is that extraordinary leader who built temples, who built temples to Krishna in cities around the world and in the hearts of his honest followers. He is that extraordinary teacher who taught difficult subjects to novice audiences, illuminated the path of bhakti by his own exemplary work, by his own exemplary behavior. He is that extraordinary scholar who released the ambrosial nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam for the world to drink. He is that extraordinary devotee whose conviction, in the words of his spiritual master, led him to fearlessly face any challenge and overcome any obstacle. Let us bow down to our extraordinary Srila Prabhupada, repeating the words he offered to his own spiritual master on the occasion of Vyasa Puja. Quote, "Personally, I have no hope for any direct service for the coming crores of births of the sojourn of my life, but I am confident that someday or other I shall be delivered from this mire of delusion in which I am at present so deeply sunk. Therefore, let me with all my earnestness pray at the lotus feet of my divine master to allow me to suffer the lot for which I am destined due to my past misdoings, but to let me have this power of recollection that I am nothing but a tiny servant of the Almighty Absolute Godhead, realized through the unflinching mercy of my Divine Master. Let me therefore bow down at his lotus feet with all humility at my command. Radhika Raman Das. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, I'd like to invite His Holiness Subhag Maharaj to come and make his offering to Srila Prabhupada.
No, this one has the microphone.
I'll shift it because I don't speak. How long speak?